If you've been following along with Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 1 these past few days, you already know that the Duffer Brothers have the fans thrilled with some incredible news. Not only do we have the epic conclusion to the entire series coming over the next few weeks, but Netflix has also officially confirmed something that fans have been theorizing about for years now, a Nancy Wheeler spinoff. And here's the thing, it's not what most of us expected. Instead of getting a full TV series, we're actually getting a mystery novel called Stranger Things One Way or Another, written by Caitlin Schneiderhan, one of the talented Stranger Things staff writers. In this video, I've compiled everything we know about this spinoff so far, so stick around as we dive into 10 incredible things about Nancy Wheeler's standalone mystery adventure. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The novel is about to be released soon. Let's start with the most exciting detail, timing. Stranger Things One Way or Another is releasing on December 2nd, 2025, which means by the time you're watching this video, the book might already be available in stores. This is insanely strategic on Netflix's part, honestly. Think about it. Season 5 Volume 1 just dropped on November 26th with 4 episodes, and suddenly we've got this novel just a few days later. The Duffer Brothers are basically creating this continuous experience where fans can continue their Stranger Things journey without having to wait until December 25th for the next batch of episodes. It's genius marketing, but it's also genuinely giving fans more content from this universe they love. The novel is published by Random House Worlds and is titled as a Nancy Wheeler mystery, which honestly makes me think of those classic Nancy Drew vibes that the show has been joking about since Season 2. Remember all those jokes about Nancy being a detective? Well, here we are. So if you're someone who's been binge-watching Season 5 and dying for more Stranger Things content, this novel is your answer, and you can actually get your hands on it almost immediately.
Some minds, it turns out.
It takes place between Season 4 and 5. One Way or Another doesn't continue after Season 5 Volume 1. It's actually a bridge story that takes place between Season 4 and Season 5. More specifically, it's set about 2 months after Vecna's devastating earthquake that destroyed Hawkins at the end of Season 4. This is actually filling in a huge gap that the show itself creates. See, Season 5 starts with this major time jump. We're suddenly about a year and a half later from where we left off at the end of Season 4, and a lot of important details about what happened during those intermediate months are only mentioned in dialogue or shown through flashbacks. The novel is essentially giving us the real-time account of what Nancy and Robin were doing during that 2-month recovery period, and this is probably some of the most crucial story material for Nancy's character development heading into the final season. We get to see how she's processing everything that happened with Vecna, how she's dealing with her family's grief and trauma, and how her friendship with Robin develops into this incredible investigative partnership that we see them operating as in Season 5.
What is it about your presence that brings out their inner Neanderthal?
Nancy teams up with Robin for a mystery investigation. If Season 4 showed us that Nancy and Robin had chemistry as an investigative duo, then this novel is going to completely solidify that partnership. The core plot of One Way or Another revolves around Nancy and Robin working together to solve a mystery in Hawkins. Now, the show had them investigate Chrissy's death and work to prove Eddie Munson's innocence, but this novel shows them really settling into their roles as amateur sleuths. And I love this because Robin, played by the absolutely wonderful Maya Hawke, brings this slightly chaotic but brilliant energy that perfectly complements Nancy's more methodical, strategic approach. In the show, by Season 5, Robin is working as a DJ at the local radio station, WSQK, and she's become this integral part of the group's operations. She's become someone the entire core team relies on. So seeing her and Nancy work together in the novel, where they're essentially operating as this detective team, is going to give us so much insight into how these two characters have grown, and how their friendship has evolved since Season 1, when they didn't even know each other. The mystery starts with Joey Taft acting suspicious. The actual plot of the novel kicks off when Nancy notices that her classmate Joey Taft is behaving very strangely around the time of graduation. Now, here's the thing that makes this interesting. Nancy recognizes these behavioral patterns because she's already seen them before. With Chrissy Cunningham in Season 4, there were clear warning signs before Vecna got her. So when Nancy sees Joe exhibiting similar weird behavior, her immediate thought is that Vecna has marked him as his next victim. This is Nancy operating in her survival mode, using everything she's learned from the trauma she's already experienced to try and protect people before tragedy strikes. She brings Robin into the investigation, and what seems like a straightforward case of tracking Vecna's potential new target quickly spirals into something way more complicated. And this is where the novel really becomes interesting, because it's not just about hunting Vecna. There's this larger conspiracy unfolding in Hawkins that goes beyond what anyone expected. The investigation leads to mysterious illnesses spreading through town. As Nancy and Robin dig deeper into their investigation, they discover that Joey Taft's strange behavior is actually connected to a larger pattern of people in Hawkins getting mysteriously ill. This is a brilliant plot twist because it takes us away from the expected supernatural threat and into more grounded mystery territory. There are now townspeople all over Hawkins getting sick with what appears to be some kind of illness, and we don't yet know if it's connected to the Upside Down or if it's something entirely different. The novel's synopsis specifically asks, why are people around town suddenly getting sick? And honestly, that's such a compelling question, because we've been assuming that everything in Hawkins is connected to the Upside Down. But what if it's not? What if there's some other threat or conspiracy that's been happening in the background, while everyone was focused on fighting Vecna? This could lead to massive revelations about Hawkins as a town, about the government cover-ups that might still be happening even after everything we've seen, or about other experimental activities that might be going on that we haven't discovered yet. A mysterious figure is tailing Nancy during her investigation. One of the most intriguing plot points mentioned in the novel's synopsis is that there's a strange man who starts tailing Nancy as she investigates. Now this is genuinely creepy and adds this thriller element to the story. Who is this person? Is he connected to the illnesses spreading through town? Is he someone working for some kind of government agency? Is he connected to Vecna in some way? Or is he someone from Hawkins' past that we haven't encountered yet? The fact that he's specifically targeting Nancy, or at least watching her activities, suggests that her investigation is getting close to something that someone doesn't want her to discover. This also ties into Nancy's character arc really beautifully. Throughout the series, Nancy has fought for truth and justice, and now she's literally being hunted because of her pursuit of answers. The investigation threatens to trap Nancy in Hawkins forever. Here's something that really resonates with Nancy's story. The novel's synopsis warns that the deeper the two dig, the further Nancy finds herself drawn into a web of intrigue that threatens to trap her in Hawkins forever. This is such a significant statement, because it directly connects to Nancy's larger life conflict. At the beginning of Season 5, Nancy is supposed to be going to Emerson College. That was the plan. That was her escape route from Hawkins, her opportunity to start fresh and pursue her dreams of becoming a serious journalist. But Vecna's attack changed everything. Now, throughout the novel, we're seeing Nancy struggling with the question, how can she possibly leave Hawkins and go to college when the town is literally being threatened by supernatural forces, and there are mysterious illnesses and conspiracies happening all around her? This investigation becomes this trap for her, because the more she uncovers, the more she realizes she can't leave. She has to stay and see this through, whatever this turns out to be. By the end of Season 5, we might find that Nancy has completely changed her life trajectory because of what she discovers in this novel. It explores new threats beyond just Vecna. While Vecna is obviously still a major threat in this novel, he's looming over everything that's happening in Hawkins. The investigation reveals that there might be other dangers at play that are completely separate from Vecna's machinations. The official synopsis specifically asks, does this even have anything to do with the Upside Down? Which is such an important question because it suggests that maybe not every bad thing happening in Hawkins is connected to the Upside Down. There could be other threats, other conspiracies, other experiments, or other forces at work in this town that have nothing to do with Henry Creel and his alternate dimension. This expands the Stranger Things universe in a really interesting way, because it suggests that Hawkins has layers upon layers of secrets and dangers. Vecna might be the main threat that Hopper and Eleven and the gang are focused on in Season 5, but in the background, there's this whole other mystery that Nancy and Robin are uncovering. The novel was written by Caitlin Schneiderhan, a Stranger Things staff writer. It's worth noting that this novel isn't just some random tie-in book written by a fan, or some outside author trying to capitalize on the Stranger Things universe. Caitlin Schneiderhan is an actual staff writer on Stranger Things, which means this is a canon event. She's written episodes of the show, she understands the tone, the characters, and the universe intimately. In fact, Schneiderhan previously wrote Stranger Things: Flight of Icarus, which was the Eddie Munson prequel novel that came out in 2023. So she has experience writing in this universe and understanding how to make these stories feel authentic to the show. This is important because it means the novel is something that's integral to understanding Nancy's journey heading into the final episodes. The Duffer Brothers clearly approved this story and probably even worked with Schneiderhan to ensure it connects properly to Season 5's narrative. This sets up Nancy's character arc for the finale. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, this novel is essentially establishing Nancy's headspace and her priorities heading into the final episodes of Stranger Things. By the time Season 5 Volume 2 drops on December 25th, fans who have read one way or another will have a much deeper understanding of Nancy's decision-making, her guilt, her determination, and her fears. In Season 5 Volume 1, we see that Nancy has failed to protect her family. Vecna has abducted her younger sister Holly, and her parents are hospitalized. Natalie Dyer even discussed this in interviews, explaining that Nancy is dealing with massive guilt and a sense of personal failure. The novel is going to show us how Nancy carries that guilt and what she does with it as she moves forward. She's also dealing with her complicated relationship with Jonathan, and potentially with Steve as well. She's trying to figure out what her life is going to look like, and she's running this investigation with Robin that could completely change everything she thought she knew about Hawkins. By the time we get to Volume 2, and then the finale on December 31st, Nancy is going to be operating from a completely different place mentally and emotionally, and the novel is going to explain why. It's the missing piece that makes her Season 5 story make complete sense.
You were the first. And you...
Marvelous verdict, something we're all looking forward to. Honestly, I'm so excited about this because Nancy has always been one of my favorite characters in Stranger Things. She's gone from this popular girl who was worried about parties and boys, to this absolute badass who's willing to walk into dangerous situations to protect people she cares about. And now we're getting to see even more of her journey. The novel Stranger Things One Way or Another hits shelves on December 2nd, so if you're an avid Stranger Things fan, I definitely recommend picking it up. It's gonna give you so much context for what's happening in Season 5, and it's gonna make you appreciate Nancy's character development even more. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited about regarding the Nancy Wheeler spinoff. What do you think is going to happen with that mysterious illness spreading through Hawkins? And what do you think that mysterious man tailing Nancy is all about? Drop your theories below, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our Stranger Things content. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!